Jesus were writing a letter to you and to your church, I wonder what would he say? If he were writing a letter to me, I hope there would be something that he would commend me and our church for. I dread to think what kind of blind spots there might be, and if Jesus might even have to rebuke me. Well, here in Revelation chapter 2 and 3, we're eavesdropping in on some letters that Jesus wrote personally to 7 churches in modern day Turkey. There's no reason to take them other than churches that actually existed 2,000 years ago. That's what everything in the passage seems to indicate. And here he gives some things that he commends the churches for, but also sometimes he has to rebuke them as well. The letters follow a very particular pattern. It begins by Jesus giving a description of who he is, and that usually resonates with something of the description that is given of Jesus in chapter 1. And then Jesus tells the church that he knows something about them. He knows where they live, or he knows their deeds, something like that. Then comes the positives and the negatives about the churches, things that the church are to be commended for, things that they're to be rebuked for. And then finally come the promises for the one who is victorious, and a challenge for those who hear the letter to actually listen to what the Spirit is saying to the churches. For some of the details, you can only speculate what they might mean. We just don't know. But for others of the details, they connect very closely with the places that Jesus is writing to. For example, Laodicea had a very distant water source, and by the time it arrived at the city, it would have been lukewarm and not very nice to drink. In Sardis, it had a black wool trade going on. For 2 of the churches, Smyrna and Philadelphia, they are both going through very severe trials and persecution, suffering of different kinds. And so there is nothing bad to say about these churches. In their difficult circumstances, Jesus encourages them to keep on going, persevering, even though that suffering is going to increase. These churches are commended when they do things like work hard for the gospel, endure faithfully, when they keep going even through suffering. It's also things like not compromising with the world or not giving in to the false teachers that have infiltrated the churches. The churches are rebuked, however, when they do compromise with the world, when they lose their first love, when they act immorally, when they listen to the false teachers and tolerate them. But the promises Jesus gives them are incredible for the ones who are victorious. That is, for the ones who keep going, keep being faithful to Jesus, and do overcome the trials that they're experiencing. The promises are all about the future glory that awaits the Christian of being in Jesus' eternal home. Wonderful descriptions given in various kinds of ways. So as we eavesdrop in on these letters to the churches, we too are to be encouraged in the way that we see God is working through us, in us, and for us. We're to be challenged in the ways that we are, so that we don't lose our first loves, that we don't compromise with the world, so that we remain faithful to Jesus, the one who gave his life for the churches and is amongst the churches. And we're to be spurred on to keep on going, knowing that there is a future glory that awaits us in heaven. Well, join us next time for chapters 4 and 5 of Revelation.